You've probably been told to just build some systems and some SOPs if you want to scale your business. But what the heck does that actually mean? Are we talking about systems, about processes, about SOPs, about somehow just training our people better? If you are leading a growing business, then it is time to cut through the guesswork and start structuring your growth. In this video, we are going to break down what each of these really means and how they work together to scale your business and structure your success. So let's start with what the heck are these things and what's the difference? We got systems, processes, SOPs, team training. Okay, systems are the technical infrastructure of your business. These are the literal pieces of technology. This is the softwares, the AI tools that you use to structure and run the day-to-day of your business. You can think of systems of if your business was like a human body, the systems are the skeleton. They are there to provide structure, provide support, and allow different pieces of this organization to move together in concert and make sure that the day-to-day execution of the business happens smoothly and successfully every time. So systems are the tech. Processes are how we use the tech. So processes, also known as workflows, these are the set of steps that you and your team complete the same way every time to deliver a consistent and repeatable outcome within the business. And these processes interact with the systems, right? So we have a process for how we use Stripe to reach out to clients around a failed payment. We have a process around how we use ClickUp to manage our tasks and our client onboarding process, right? So systems and processes interplay, but the system is the technical infrastructure. The process is how we use that technology to run a series of steps that achieves a repeatable outcome within the business. Okay, systems, processes. What then is an SOP? An SOP, this stands for Standard Operating Procedure, and the SOP is the documentation of a process. We literally take a process and we write it down. Why do we do this? SOPs are important because they take the repeatable processes in your business, the things that you do again and again, and by writing it down and codifying it, we are able to ensure consistency and reliability in that outcome. With an SOP, we're making sure that we do the process the same way every time so that we achieve the same outcome every time. And we do that better and faster because we have it written down in such a way where that process isn't being reinvented every single time we have to run the play. And then lastly, what is training? Training is where we impart the knowledge of our systems, our processes, and our SOPs from our brain into our team's brain. Training is about knowledge and skill transfer. It is how we are supporting our team in doing the best work in their role and following the systems and processes that we've built to ensure that they're doing their role correctly within the larger structure of the organization. So now at this point, if you're realizing that some of the things that you thought were systems are actually just vague ideas, and some of your SOPs are really just half-built processes, then I want you to hear me when I say you are not alone. And now that you have awareness around it, it is time to fix this problem. Because sloppy systems, sloppy processes is not just where all the client fires happen, all the dropped balls, all the crossed wires, all of the things that frustrate you and annoy you and keep you stuck in the day-to-day weeds cleaning it up. These are also where profit leaks out of your business. Think about it this way. That client fire never would have happened if we had a tighter onboarding process and our team didn't actually drop the ball. That big mistake that blew up last week that you had to spend 4 to 5 hours fixing and cleaning up would have never taken place if we just had a well-documented SOP and that mistake just didn't happen to begin with. And we could have spent those 4 to 5 hours on marketing and sales and closing the next client. These little things that happen are not just annoying, they're actually expensive. They cost you clients, they cost you time, and all of that costs you profit. Think about it this way. You've already done all of the work and spent all of the money to acquire that client. And then that client turns around and churns out because of a totally avoidable mistake. That is lost profit. It would cost you practically nothing to have just run the process correctly from the beginning. The client never leaves. And then all of that future revenue that they pay you falls straight to the bottom line in the form of profit. It is revenue that you don't have to pay anything more to acquire, aka profit. So sloppy systems, sloppy SOPs are actually profit leaks. And on the flip side, when we find those gaps and we close them, we are able to reclaim what I call lost profit right now that is hiding in plain sight in your business, leaking out before you can get to it. So there are actually 6 hidden and lost profit centers inside of your business. And we've created a tool for our clients that we call the Hidden Profit Finder to help them isolate and identify exactly where that profit is leaking out of their business and what they can do right now today to get started closing those gaps. So if you want that tool, we have made it entirely free. It takes 10 minutes or less, and you can grab that link down in the description, and that's going to help you identify how to make your business faster and more profitable starting tomorrow. So now that we understand not just the importance of these things, but the ROI on having the right systems, processes, SOPs, and team training, let's talk about how we use all 4 of these things in tandem, how they work together to produce a scalable foundation for our business. So these things literally stack on each other. At the base, we have systems. Again, this is the skeleton that supports and holds up the body that is our organization, the body that is our business. So the systems provide that technological foundation upon which work gets done. On top of our systems, we stack our processes. Those processes are what run the day-to-day activities of our team. This is where we step out of technology and into execution. How does our team do work? And how do we make sure we get the right work done at the right time, on the right day, by the right person, in the right way, right? That's processes. In order to codify and speed up those processes, we layer in SOPs. And once we have these codified, meaning they run the same way every single time, we actually have the opportunity to go back down to our base layer, back to systems, and say, okay, how do we automate these processes? How do we take this SOP where right now all of those actions are happening manually, and where is there opportunity to automate, to use technology, and these days really use AI to take steps out of that SOP and build an AI tool that will slip into that SOP and take something that used to take 5 hours and make it happen in 5 minutes, right? So there's actually an interplay where our SOPs go back to technology, and then that technology rolls back upwards in the form of consistently improving processes and SOPs. And then the final layer that we stack on top of that is training, which is human behavior. How does our team utilize these 3 layers to do their work as productively, as efficiently, and as profitably as possible? So these 4 layers stack on each other like a pyramid. And like a pyramid, if you are missing a foundational layer, the whole thing starts to crumble. If we don't have systems, there is nothing on which to stabilize and support our processes. If we don't have processes, there's nothing to write down and document in the form of an SOP. And if we don't have SOPs, there is nothing to refer back to when it comes to training and coaching our team. So if we're going to build these in order, build them in that order. Stack the foundation of the pyramid starting at the bottom, build it up towards the top. And if we've done this correctly, then what we're creating within the business is a scalable, self-managing machine. Our team, instead of going to us for everything, instead of relying on us for everything, can now refer to the systems, the processes, and the SOPs to get their work done correctly every single day without having to drag you into the day-to-day weeds. That work is going to happen faster. It's going to happen with fewer mistakes, which means less fires, less client churn, less things that you have to step in and pick up. And now you have all of that time freed up to reinvest into the front end of the business, drive marketing, drive sales, drive growth, because you can trust your team to scale successfully without you. Okay, so now we understand conceptually what these layers are and how they work together to drive scale and growth into the business. If you're ready to go deeper, then we need to start right at that first layer with systems. And I have created an entire video, I call it the ultimate guide to building systems. And it's going to walk you through step by step how to start laying systems into the foundation of your business. So if you want that, go check it out. It should be popping up on the screen. And let's take this theory, let's turn it into action, and let's build you a better, more profitable version of your business. I will see you over there.